Hi, hello, and welcome back for another short video, hoping to help you walk through the confusion that can sometimes come from having to put headings into your paper. So let's not waste any time and dive right into what a heading is, how to format it according to APA, and when you might use different levels of headings, which is exactly what we're going to talk about. Levels and formatting, and the word introduction will be our finale. Well, maybe not the finale, but it will be one of the things that we talk about. As always, this is the website to the source of a lot of this information. I am not citing this according to APA, of course. You can tell just by the way it's written, but the apastyle.apa.org website contains all of the information that is in your guidebook that you were given at orientation. So whichever tool you use to find this information, if you need to get more information or answer questions, is fine. They all have the same information. If you do use the website, go to that link at the very top and then go to the Style and Grammar Guidelines and click on Headings. And once you get there, you will see a table that looks like this. Now, this is such a commonly referenced piece of information within APA formatting guidelines that in the guidebook that you were given at orientation, they actually put it right on the inside of the front cover. So you can find it by clicking what I talked about in the last slide on the website. Or if you have your concise guide sitting on your desk somewhere, flip open that cover and the same table is listed there. It tells you exactly how to format it, what it looks like, the title case, sentence case, etc. So this is going to be your cheat sheet. So whether it's this slide, your book, the website, whatever, find some way to keep this handy so that you can use it during your paper writing. So let's talk about the word introduction. The APA guidelines are very, very aware that the very first paragraph of your paper is almost exclusively, but very generally, an introduction paragraph. In most papers that any professional writes, it serves that function. And so they have decided that you do not need to use the word introduction before your introduction because it is understood that that is what it is. And so instead of using the word introduction as your very first heading or anything else, they ask that we retype the title of the paper as the very first heading of your paper. Okay? I know that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, and I wish I could explain the answer to you any more clearly, but that's the way that it is. So just get rid of that word introduction out of your lingo or your vocabulary when it comes time to make your headings for your paper, and you should be just fine. But let's go to our document and actually make some headings here, okay? So this is the document that we started on earlier. This is our title page. It's all formatted. And if you remember, the topic of this paper was my main reasons for becoming a nurse. Okay, so my main reasons for becoming a nurse is our title. So just to make life easier, I'm going to copy that. So I don't have to type it again. And on page 2, I'm going to write my first heading. Right? And all I did was just copy and paste it. Because this is the first heading, just like in the outline that you would prepare, it is a level 1 heading is what APA calls it. So that's centered and bold and title case, which means all the major words are capitalized. Okay? This one obviously is just the title of your paper, but all of your headings should be as concise and specific as possible. They should describe what's coming up in that actual section. And once you understand what's in a section, it can help you specifically identify what the name of the heading should be, but also what level heading it should be. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So I've got my first heading, my title of my paper. Then when I start the text of my paper, I have to go to the left. I don't need the bold. That looks like it's already off. And then I indent. Just one indent. You just hit the tab button once, and then you start writing. right? So you have your 1, 2, however many paragraphs you have listed here. Okay, so now let's say the next section of my paper is going to be talking about family, right? Maybe I have some familial reasons about why I want to be a nurse, or I have people in my family that are nurses, or who were sick and had experiences working with nurses or having nurses take care of them, right? So I'm going to have a section of my paper dedicated to talking about family. So family is descriptive, and it doesn't get much more concise than one word. So I'm going to make that my heading. This again is going to be, this is no longer my introduction, right? I'm not kind of talking about what it is this entire paper is working on or talking about. I'm going to start specifically talking about the reasons why I'm becoming a nurse. So I'm going to make this a level 1 heading by centering it and making it bold. I'm going to capitalize the first word, which you would do in any sentence, but also in any title, because this is title case. But because it's only one word, it doesn't really matter because you'd capitalize it either way. Okay? So this is my next level 1 heading. Okay? And then to start typing, I just go back to the left side, remove the bold, hit the indent, and start talking about family. Okay? And then I might have 1, 2, however many paragraphs talking about that. Now, something that I might want to talk about in the context of family or as a subsection of family might be some of the generational observations that I've made, as an example. Right? Maybe I have a grandparent who has been very sick in my lifetime, my memories, and so you've had a lot of interactions with nurses from that grandparent being cared for by nurses in different settings, right? Hospitals, nursing homes, etc. Maybe your mother actually is a nurse, and maybe your cousin is a nurse practitioner, right? So you want to talk about some of the different experiences you have, still related to family, but in a different context. And so we're going to make a level 2 heading. Okay. So after those paragraphs, that first section, I'm going to keep it left justified or flush left, make it bold, and I'm going to write in a title case, just like our title of our paper. So I'm going to call this generational observations, right? And then to start that paragraph, we come back down, keep it on the left, we take off that bold, indent, and then start our next paragraph. Okay, that's a level 2 heading. That's what it looks like. Quite honestly, if you remember that table, I think I could pull it up again. Remember this table? It lists 5 different levels of headings. I have to say, at the level that my audience here, my students listening to this now are at, it's going to be pretty infrequent that you go down past a level 2. It very well could happen in your professional and even your student careers. So you should be aware of what those formats are. But more often than not in your basic papers, you're going to have a level 1 heading, maybe a level 2 heading in some instances. But you should be aware of what that looks like just in case you do go beyond that, or if you go further in education and you actually do need that many levels. All right, so I'm going to make a couple of other level 1 headings by centering and making it bold. Maybe I'll talk about the opportunities that are available to nurses, and that's some of the reasons why I want to be a nurse, because I can do so many different things in different settings in any city, in any state, in any country. Maybe another section or another heading might be the roles of a nurse. Right, and you can see I use title case there again. I have roles because it's capitalized because it's the first word in that heading of a are not major words, and so those are not capitalized, but nurse is a major word, so it is. So this section I might talk about all the different kinds of things you can do as a nurse. You can be an educator, you can work at the bedside, you can do research, you can work in people's homes or hospitals. You know, the possibilities are endless. So that might be a reason why I want to be a nurse, and so I have a section talking about that. And then just to kind of round this out, your kind of general 5-section paper, we would then just write our conclusion as a level 1 heading again. Okay, so you can see these headings are formatted according to level 1, and we have that one heading formatted to level 2 guidelines. They are succinct, they are descriptive. And even if your rubric or your assignment doesn't specifically ask for an introduction or a conclusion paragraph, I would recommend throwing something in there. It's always nice just to kind of start the playing field level with the instructor or whoever's reading it, and then to kind of round it out again at the end, just to summarize some of the things that you talked about in your paper and hit on those main points again to ensure that you're capturing all those rubric requirements in your paper. Okay, so that's all I have for you on headings. This one is short and sweet, but hopefully if you have any questions about your headings, you know the resources to go to. Your instructors are always a resource. And remember, it's that level 1 and maybe level 2 headings you're going to need to know. The rest is just gravy at this point, but you know how to find those details in case you do need them. So once again, I hope you all have a great day, and thanks for listening.